That's nice. You look like a Helen.
Helen, we're both in sales.
Let me tell you why I suck as a salesman. Let's say I go into some guy's office. Let's say he's even remotely interested in buying something. Well, then I get all excited. I'm like, Jojo, the idiot circus boy with a pretty new pet. The pet is my possible sale. Oh, my pretty little pet. I love you. So I stroke it, and I pet it, and I massage it. Yeah, I love it. I love my little naughty pet. You're naughty. And then I take my naughty pet and I go. Oh! I killed it! I killed my sale. That's when I blow it. That's when people like us have got to forge ahead, Helen. Am I right?
God, you're sick.
Any other Tommy Boy fans out there? That is by far, I think, my favorite movie. So, welcome to the Do What Is Necessary live stream. We are live at 3 p.m. Eastern Time here in the U.S. on a Wednesday. Welcome to your Wednesday afternoon therapy right in the middle of Hump Day. So, thank you for those of you who are joining us today. I'm excited to have you. So, put that down in the comments. Let me know where you're tuning in from. And if you could do me one more favor, let me know what you are most grateful for today. So let me know you can hear me okay. We'll get all that tech stuff out of the way first off. I know that's super important to get that out of the way. We want to welcome Pesach back to the show for another week. Thank you so much for tuning back in. I'm excited. We've got a pretty cool topic this week, one that is absolutely near and dear to my heart and probably many of you as well. So let me know, like I said, let's get the tech stuff out of the way. Let me know you can hear me okay. We are broadcasting out on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook today, so hopefully you're tuning in. Pesach, he is joining us from Israel today. So we have a global audience here on the Do What Is Necessary live stream, and that is to me is just such a cool thing that we started this live stream back in April, right as kind of COVID hit globally, and it's been therapy for me. It really has been therapeutic for me to get on this show every week and talk to people from all over the globe, and I'm blessed in so many ways. So that's what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the fact that we have viewers coming back week in and week out, watching the show, contributing to the show, sharing the show. And that's what it's all about, is being able to unite entrepreneurs from around the world. And that is what the Do What Is Necessary show is all about. Welcome, Robert. Again, another repeat visitor. So I'm excited to have you again this week, and I'm honored to have you again this week. So thank you so much. So this is the Do What Is Necessary live stream, and if this is your first time that you've been here, let me just clear a couple things out of the way. This is a weekly live stream that I do, it's dedicated to entrepreneurship, technology, work-life alignment, and leadership. It's a show dedicated to doing what is absolutely necessary for you, to stop listening to gurus, stop listening to everybody else who tells you what your life should look like, and live a life that is dedicated for you to succeed in business and in your personal life. Because what's necessary for me is different from you, it's different from the next person, and that is okay. That's what we celebrate on this show, the fact that we can celebrate a better life by pushing aside the hustle and grind and work your face off mentality and sacrifice everything that plagues mankind, that plagues business, modern business today. It's about creating a calm life. And that for me is what I am absolutely dedicated to helping entrepreneurs do, is live a calm, meaningful, satisfying life. Eric, welcome back to the show. We have a fellow Buckeye represented in the house again. So thank you so much for tuning in. Obviously, everybody can hear me okay, and I'm really glad that I was able to share your earbuds and your screen with me. Robert, he nearly missed it. They turned their clocks back over in UK this past weekend. I know we do that this coming weekend. So I pick up an extra hour of sleep this week. So excited about that. So this week's topic, again, is one that is near and dear to my heart. And it's the world cannot afford the extinction of entrepreneurs. And that small business is very much under the gun and is threatened in so many different ways that we didn't really think about at the beginning of the year. And just to let you know, talk a little bit about those of you who don't know anything about me, I come from a very small working class town on the Ohio River, about 45 minutes out of Pittsburgh. It was a very working class community. So everybody either worked for the coal mine, the steel mill, or the railroad, which my dad worked for 30 years. And I watched my dad, my uncles, everybody that I knew grow up and work it was hard. They did hard work, but they struggled at the same time. And that really hit me when the mine would go on strike or the mills would go on strike, how that affected our community. And that's when really at the age of 8, that's when the entrepreneurial bug really touched me. I started with my brothers and my cousins making candy out of my mom's kitchen, and my dad would drive us around the neighborhood selling candy. So that was our deal. That's how we made bank. Cut grass. I talked so many things, whatever it took to make a living. But I knew that my way out was through doing my own thing and being an entrepreneur. And I love the fact that we can. And I love the fact that we can just pick up and do what we want, what we're most passionate about. Anybody watched this show back in the 80s? I remember the character Michael J. Fox portrayed. I thought for a while that I was going to be a stockbroker, that was going to be my way out. I was going to move to New York and be a stockbroker because that's what my favorite character on Family Ties wanted to be. But I thought about that. And then again, I was good with numbers. No offense to CPAs or stockbrokers out there, but I didn't see myself 10, 20, 30 years of retiring doing that. I wanted to be something different, do something different. And I knew that entrepreneurship was the way to do it, and that was, my way out, if you would, of that working class, very hard, unnerving, and unpredictable when you work for someone else. But it goes without saying that we've seen the unpredictability even in the entrepreneurial community this year. And for me, I was in a startup. I remember the first gut punch that I took. First business that I was running that tanked. It was the late 90s. I was up in New England. It was a startup. We were very much in startup mode. And a lot of our clients were venture cap based. And we all know what happened in the late 90s. The dot-com bubble burst. And I found myself in my early 20s out of work again. Business closed. And it was a severe gut punch to me. That, how do we recover from that? How do I stand back up? What do I do next? So that's when I spent, some time regrouping and, pivoting and relaunched. We relaunched another tech company in 2001, right in time for another recession. So, and again, another gut punch. And I think that's where we're at right now. And I think we've got unique challenges that I did not see during the dot-com bust, the 2001 recession, or even the 2008 recession. We're seeing things that most of us in business have never gone through before. And I don't want to paint, this isn't about gloom and doom. I think this to me is about inspiring people. But if anybody was in business back during any of those recessions of the dot-com bust, please put that in the comments. I like to see, how far back people go in their entrepreneurial journey, if you're running a business, or just what is one thing that you remember about working through those difficult times and those difficult periods. And that's what I want to talk about today is I think we can't afford to lose the entrepreneurial spirit. And I know that this year has been a severe gut punch to all of us. It's been challenging in so many ways. And I came across a presentation where this slide came up. That this is based here in the United States, so I'm not sure what the stats are globally over in Israel or the UK. But 42% of small business owners say they've had to close their doors as a result of COVID-19 this year. And think about that. That's nearly half of the small businesses here in the United States. And I would imagine that the same is probably holds true in other markets. So if you've seen, statistics in your country, please put those in the comments and share those too, because I'm always, again, we want to share this knowledge globally as to how entrepreneurs can unite during this time and how we move forward. And that's what this part of the show is all about this week is how do we regroup? How do we take care of ourselves? How do we unite? How do we move forward? How do we not be afraid of 2021, of what's coming up in next year, and how do we plan? And that's what I want to talk about this week. I want to talk about 4 things. I was thinking about this show over the last couple weeks. I've done some interviews here on the show the last couple weeks. But I thought about some of the ways where I think that we can kind of change things. And again, there's no pun intended with this slide. It just made me think about when we get on an airplane and the flight attendant goes through the safety checks and they talk about the oxygen mask. And what is the first direction that they give if you're going to help somebody else? You need to put your oxygen mask on first. Because you're not going to be able to help others. You're not going to be able to get off the plane if you're passed out. So that was always the direction, and it is to put on your oxygen mask first and then start helping people. So how do we apply that into the entrepreneurial journey? I think that never has it been more critical than entrepreneurs to look in the mirror, to do a self-check every day. And I've had to do that so many times over the last 6 or 7 months as we're still in quarantine. I've only been out a few times. We're not legally in quarantine, but I'm staying away, so that I can do this, that I can be there for my family. I can be there to run our business and continue forward. But it's about doing those checks physically. And the toughest one as entrepreneurs is mentally, those mental checks. And being able to know whether or not you're mentally okay. And I watched the movie Inception a couple weeks ago with my son. He's never seen that. But I remember that part in the movie where they had to tell something where you could tell whether or not you're still in reality. And I remember that he spun the top, and if it fell over, he knew that he was still in reality. But I think it's important as we as entrepreneurs take that time and do those physical checks, take care of ourselves physically, get our sleep, because these are anxious times, again, beyond anything that I've ever seen and that I've ever helped entrepreneurs work through. And it's a challenge. But again, we need to put on our mask first, take care of ourselves, make sure that we're good so that we can go and help our team. We can help those that might be working for us. Those that, if you're in my line of work, being able to help other entrepreneurs. But I still do this, and I think it's super important that we do that. And again, it's just that acknowledgement. And it's weird because we as entrepreneurs think that, we don't need anybody else, that we're afraid to admit any weaknesses or to appear weak in any way. But I think we need to throw that away. It's about doing what's necessary, and that's what this show's all about. That's necessary right now. Taking care of yourself physically, taking care of yourself mentally. If you've got ways that you've been coping with the stress too as an entrepreneur, please share that. Again, this is about sharing our knowledge and being able to unite together. So I'm just checking comments as they come in as well. The second thing that I think needs to happen, and I think it's more important than ever before in history, right now as business owners, those of us who are still left standing, and even those of you who may have closed your doors, you still have passion. That, life dealt you unfortunate circumstances perhaps this year. But again, this is the chance to rebuild. This is the chance to pivot. This is a chance to start something new. Because if you've been down that entrepreneurial journey once, you know what that's like. You know that once that bug bites you, that it typically doesn't let go, that you keep that entrepreneurial passion. So if you find yourself one of those statistics this year, that you do have something still to offer, and please Share that with the community. Reach out to me. This is the time for us as business owners, us as executives running companies, to band together and look for creative ways to help each other. And that's what I love more than anything about LinkedIn, especially that platform. That's where people come to do business. And I've had so many people reach out to me since April, since we started doing this show. And I've been able to connect people with some other amazing people that I've met on LinkedIn that I've not met in person. But being able to put those connections and help people work together in ways that may not have been possible. That to me is what fuels my fire right now. And I think that's our hashtag for 2021 and going forward, is besides do what is necessary, is that entrepreneurs need to unite. Entrepreneurs unite. That's our hashtag. That's my mantra going forward. And we're all about that. I'm going to be adding a ton of training coming up. We're starting a new site where we can unite entrepreneurs together, and that we can train, that we can network without all the garbage of social media and being on Facebook and all the junk that's on there. I'm going to create my own community, and I would love it if you join me. If you're interested in that, please let me know, because I would love to have great people in there that live that standard of doing what's necessary. Number 3, the third thing that I think we need to do as entrepreneurs is level up our skills. I think that this year has pointed out weaknesses for me in areas of my business, areas of my personal life that I need to get better at. And leadership and being able to have a positive mentality, those are things that have really been taxed this year. And those are the things that I need to work on, that I need to get better at. Sales and marketing seems to be a huge one for IT providers. Is, sales and marketing, billing, whatever it is that might be the Achilles heel of your business. Right now is the time to level up. We need to level up our skills. And it may be that may be beyond your skill set. And I think goes back to our second thing. That's where we need to get in touch with other businesses and ask for help and get the help that we need as business owners. And sometimes it is leveling up with someone else's skills to make us better people and to make our companies better. And right now is the time to do that. This is a perfect time as we go into the fourth quarter to be able to level up skills. And I think that's super important that we, take the time to the skills we're deficient in, and it doesn't have to be business. Those life skills that make us better fathers, better mothers, better husbands, better people. Those are the skills that we need to level up in right now. Pesach, he's in. Pesach, so I'd love to have you. I'll let you know more about that in probably the next week or so. I've been working diligently trying to get this off the ground because I think right now is the time. And right now is the time, especially over the next few months as we get ready for 2021, to hit the ground running and be prepared to conquer next year. Number 4. Which kind of goes back to number 1 is, putting your oxygen mask on first. But I think, this is business, this is life, is getting lean. And I scratched out the meat because I'm not about the meanness. I think there's too much meanness in the world. This is about being lean and nice. Is getting lean inside your business, cutting things that you might be spending money on that might be a waste. And one of them I see so many, especially because I'm, connected with so many tech folks. I coach a lot of IT providers, and one of them is I still see a lot of them spending money on marketing gurus and being part of programs where that marketing that they're part of was selling their services the way that we would have 10 years ago. I think it's time to rethink how we position our businesses, how we sell, how we interact online. I just got done 4 weeks of training for a major IT vendor that's global, training their partners on how to position themselves on LinkedIn to benefit from this mantra right here, being lean and nice, is being a real person. But I think it's time that we do that. We get lean physically if we can. Some of us, we like to eat a little too much. But I think it's super important. It's super important to examine those things. Get lean inside your business. Get lean inside your personal life. Is cutting out, decluttering your house. Man, I did that 6 years ago when I sold my IT business, and I actually sat down for the first time in 10 years and took a break. For 2 or 3 months, I did not work at hardly at all. And again, that entrepreneurial bug bit me, and here we are, back in business, back running another company. But that's what I did. I took those 2 months and we decluttered. I got rid of all of those things that I was collecting inside of my life over the 10 years running my last tech business, and decluttering. And I have not added to it since. And it has been such a freeing experience when you declutter and you get rid of things that you thought maybe were important, but really aren't. They really, at the end of the day, at the end of life, they don't really mean a whole lot. And it's about relationships. And that for me is what I've been all about ever since. So tell me, if there's things that you're doing, if there's something that you think we need to add to that list, please let me know. We'll share that. If you're watching this show after the fact, please put that in the comments as well. Where you're watching from, what you're grateful for, and if you would add anything to this list of Entrepreneurs Unite. That's our mantra. So now I'm going to move into the next segment of our show. And this was, initially, I was going to make the show all about this topic, is do we really know it all? And this, I think it ties very well into the 4 points we covered in the previous topic. But what really kind of kicked this off for me is the idea of I don't need anybody's help, and that I don't need to level up my skills. And I see this so much, and again, because I coach a lot of IT companies, I see this know-it-all attitude so rampant in the industry. And it's not just my industry. I see it everywhere. But this was a post that came up, and I thought this was interesting, so I started reading the comments. Somebody asked, inside of an IT group, what books have you read that have helped you the most in your IT business? I thought it was a great question, and I started reading through some of the comments, and like the third one, this came up. And I for the sake of anonymity, I blocked everybody's names out. But this person said, none. If you have to read books to do this work, you probably shouldn't be doing this work. And the conversation derailed completely from there. And this was over on Facebook, so that's why I hate Facebook. I was only on there because some of the software vendors that we use, their support groups are inside Facebook. So if you're a vendor, please don't have your only support channels, your only methods of communicating with your partners on Facebook. There's just so much crap over there. And again, I know that I'm broadcasting this on Facebook, so hopefully I'm trying to reach those people that actually care, and those people that are actually trying to do good. I know I'm probably going to get some crap for this one, and I don't care, because I think this mentality right here of I know everything and I don't need help, I think that those folks, especially in IT, who have this mentality that they don't need help, that they know everything, are going to suffer. And that's just assuming that you're even in business after the first quarter of 2021. Because an interesting thing, I started doing some digging on this particular gentleman who posted this, and his homepage of his website came up with a Cloudflare error message. So immediately, he doesn't know everything. But I think it's just that mentality. And what surprised me was how many people jumped on this conversation and supported this particular gentleman. And I hope for his sake that changes. If he's still running a business in the second quarter of next year, hopefully his attitude's a bit different, because life will tend to do that to you. Life will humble you sometimes. I can speak from experience. But if you run across people like that, I immediately run the other way. But more importantly, I try to help. I didn't join in this conversation because I don't have the mental bandwidth to argue with people on Facebook. So, but just think about that. If you find yourself to the point where you think you know everything, that's when I think it's time to do the reality check, the humility check, because we don't know everything. I've sold many businesses, and I still don't know everything. That's why I do this show, so that I can learn from other people as well. So again, I'll get off my soapbox. I try to kind of make this part of the show just something to a reality check for us as entrepreneurs to really think about, are we doing things the right way? And is, the way we're perceiving things correct? And is there a better way to do things? So I was just blown away. So it's my emoji for the day. But yeah, this conversation derailed in so many areas. So if you've seen that, you've been in part of groups with that, that's what I'm hoping to prevent with our new community is prevent this from being there, because it's not beneficial to anybody. Anyway, again, I wanted to make a whole show. I could probably talk for an hour about that. And I see it so much, again, in multiple industries, but it's very rampant in the IT industry. It's very ego-driven still. People don't want to share. I think it's gotten better over the last couple of years, but I think we have a long way to improve in the tech channels, in the tech communities, to be able to share. It benefits not just us, it benefits our customers. It makes us better people, better business people. But again, that's kind of my rant for the week. And again, I want this to be a positive show. I just want that to be a reality check, because I've been there. I thought I knew everything, and that, you quickly realize in life you don't know everything. But it's just about, having the humility to get the help that you need and to improve in life. So, all right, the next part I'm going to talk about is kind of, again, we're going to take a completely different direction. I'm going to talk about something that I've been using over the last year or so that has, since we've been working at home so much more, I'm going to show you it again. This is going to be a product spotlight on what I'm using, and that has helped me tremendously improve my physical health. And I love the fact that this takes a real world thing. We're all working from home, and adds kind of the tech component to it. So let me share this quick video with you. I think it's a cool new product coming out, and I'm probably going to snag one here as soon as they come out. Anybody else have a standing desk? I just asked that in the comments. Let me know if you have one, a standing desk, or just any type of desk where it allows you to stand up as you periodically work. I still physically suffer from sitting in a chair for way too long when I ran my last tech business. So this, for me, has been a lifesaver. I think I've got version 2 or 3 of the autonomous desk, and I absolutely love it. And I'm going to do a breakdown of our studio too here in a couple weeks, because I actually have my entire studio clamped to this desk. So when I stand, or whether I sit like I am right now, everything's positioned exactly where I need to be. Camera's right where it needs to be. I'm able to stand and do training sessions and coaching sessions and be on Zoom calls. But it has been an absolute lifesaver. So I can't recommend Autonomous enough, and I know that there's other brands out there. This is just the particular one that I use. And yes, that is a referral link, so I think you can get up to $150 off. But I'm probably going to get that because I like the app feature of being able to remind me to stand up and to exercise, because that was always, I got timers out the yin-yang on my desk reminding me to stand up and to move around. But yeah, I think that I absolutely love it. And again, that's my orange spotlight for this week. And again, going back to being able to put our own oxygen mask on, man, it's been a physical and mental lifesaver for me to be able to stand up and be able to work as well. So Robert says he did, and he will have one again soon. Let me know if you buy that too, Robert. The Smart Desk 4, I love the fact that it has an app, and I can actually control that from my phone. So I'm going to look for a way where I can automate those things, because that's what I'm all about, is automation. But yeah, if you have a standing desk that you like and you're watching this after the fact, please put that in the comments too, because I'm always curious to check out other vendors that might be available. But I think I absolutely love this desk. It's quiet, moving up and down, and they're saying that the new one's going to be even quieter, so that's pretty cool. So anyway, that's my orange spotlight for this week. So I like to feature, products or things that are beneficial to people, and that for me, again, this has been great. So let's move into our last segment of the show. This is our Q&A. So if you have a question that's been burning in your mind, please drop that in the comments. We can answer that live. Or again, if you're watching this after the fact, I do look at the comments, so please tag me in the comment so that I'll get a notification so we can cover this on a future broadcast as well. But this was a question that I got helping a new startup in the last couple weeks. I forget when this question came in. But she asked me, what is the number one skill that has served you the most as an entrepreneur? And I'm helping her with her startup. She's launching a new startup. COVID kind of spurred her to get her side hustle on. So I'm super excited for her. But this was a great question. I had to think about this a little bit, about what would the number one skill, looking back on all the businesses that I've run and been a part of, what would the number one skill be? And for me, I would probably have to say that public speaking, the ability to stand up in front of an audience, whether it's on camera now, but the ability to be calm in front of an audience and to be able to present to an audience. So I would say that would probably be my number one skill. And I think that has served me well throughout the years. I'm an introvert by nature. I'm an INFJ personality, so if you want to research that, so we're super weird, so just letting you know. But anyway, my ability to be able to stand up, to be able to talk on camera, to be able to present has served me well. And if you're an entrepreneur, mastering that ability to me is huge. When I don't think we fully ever master it. There are things that I continue to improve. That's why I do this show live, because we only got one cut to get it right. Sometimes I mess up, and that's okay. That's what we learn about moving on. But I think that would be my number one skill. So if that's something that, you think that you're not good at, again, it goes back to leveling up our skills, is, find a resource of being able to get good at public speaking. And again, it's going to be more difficult now because we have to be engaging in a virtual environment behind a camera, which, again, it weirds a lot of people out and they never get started. So if you have something that has served you well in your career, a skill that has served you well in your career, what would you say that would be? Please put that in the comments, because I'm always, again, this is about learning and sharing, and that's what this show is completely and utterly about. So that takes us through all of our segments this week. I just wanted to thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with me this week. I think it's an important topic that we as entrepreneurs need to address and that we need to look at, because I think it's good for our communities, good for our economies if we have entrepreneurs. And right now, this is sometimes economic downturns are the best times to get into a business. So if that's something that you're interested in, you're looking at starting a business, please reach out to me. I have absolutely a ton of resources that can be useful in helping you start up your business. And sometimes it's not my help, it's just connecting you with somebody else that might be a better fit. And I'm totally all about that. But I think right now, sometimes, those of you who might be out of work, those of you who might have had to close your business, again, you still have passion that's useful. And I think it's about taking that and pivoting and making something, different and carving out your niche again. And I think, this is, it's a bad time and a good time all at the same time. But I think it can be done. There's so many businesses have been started during economic downturns that are still here, just maybe in different forms. And that's what we're here to celebrate. So thank you again. If you found this show useful, those of you who are still watching, let me know in the comments. I would be so honored if you could give me a like, thumbs up, heart, whatever you're into. But please, more importantly than that, if there's something about this show that you think someone else could benefit from, it would be an honor for me if you would be able to share that with somebody else. Because I think, again, this is 3:00 on a Wednesday afternoon. We're not reaching some time zones. I know I've got a ton of folks over in Australia that it's 5:00 in the morning for them, so they're not watching this broadcast. But please share this, a friend, a neighbor, anybody. I would be super honored if you were able to do that. But I'm glad you hung out with me again this week. And if you're watching this after the fact, sharing your screen or your earbuds with me, if you're listening to this perhaps through a future podcast, because I think that's what we're going to do with this show too, is I've had some folks reach out and say, can't watch that with the screen, but I'd love to listen to that while I'm working out, because I think it's beneficial. So that's what we're looking to be able to do, is reach as many people as we possibly can. So thanks again for hanging out with me this week. Robert, thank you so much. I know I'm glad that I didn't miss you this week, even with the time change. I should have put a graphic up for that. So those of us here in the U.S., clocks change this weekend. So please make sure you tune in next week so we don't miss a broadcast. But thanks again for hanging out with me. Again, I'm honored that you would take the time to hang out with me. And if there's something about this show that maybe you didn't want to share in the comments or didn't want to share publicly, please reach out. There's no shame at all in being able to get help. And I would love to be able to do that. If that can save you from closing your doors, or that can help you maybe pivot and change directions with your entrepreneurial journey, I would love and be honored to be able to do that. So thank you again. This is Andrew Moon, Orange Nomad, coming to you live right here in the Orange Nomad Studios in Columbus, Ohio. Thanks for watching this week. You take care and have yourself an awesome day, and I will see you on the next show.